Thanks for visiting our channel again. The brilliant and troubled personal story of David Gahan, the thunderous frontman of Depeche Mode, is full of both. In this video, we will be addressing some stunning things that Gahan has revealed to the public in a very fascinating turn of events, so you will have to wait a little to grasp where the turmoil is coming from. But his killer music productions are proof of his talent. Every single thing a fan could ever hope to hear about their beloved celebrity, from serious drug usage to the announcement of terminal illnesses, has been announced by Dave. Allow me to take you on a little journey back in time to his youth before we go into this. After Dave's father left the family, his mother Sylvia took the lead in raising him. Just like many children from broken homes, he had a fairly difficult upbringing. Tragically, Dave's stepfather passed away. He had tenderly adopted him and his sister, becoming the much-needed father figure for them. Dave's world had already crumbled under the weight of his parents' separation. Because of this tragic loss, young Dave had to cope with an emptiness that appeared insurmountable. The upheaval continued when Dave's biological father made a brief return to his life. However, this reconciliation was temporary, and with his departure, Dave was once again confronted with the difficult truths of his troubled upbringing. Gahan, a defiant and troubled youth, spent a lot of time in juvenile court for infractions like joyriding and shoplifting. In interviews, he has come clean about his wild side, admitting that he enjoyed the thrill of stealing a car and been chased by the police. His run-ins with the law nearly placed him in a correctional facility, but he was saved when music became a part of his life. Composition of Sound was a band that Gahan joined in 1980. It featured Martin Gore, Andy Fletcher, and Vince Clarke, among other great musicians. Eventually, this band became even bigger. A fashion magazine gave it the moniker Depeche Mode, and now everyone knows it. Dave Gahan got the idea from there. The band Depeche Mode became immensely popular due to their infectiously catchy music. They released 15 albums and achieved global record sales of over 100 million copies. Gahan and Depeche Mode's journey has been fraught with controversy, despite their success. Though he had a strong stage presence and a deep singing voice, he had trouble collaborating creatively with the band. In 2003, he demanded a larger part in songwriting after growing frustrated with the band's unwillingness to experiment. Because of this edit, 3 of his songs, including the Grammy-nominated Suffer Well, appeared on the 2005 CD Playing the Angel. As a solo artist, Gahan had success with albums such as Hourglass and Paper Monsters. But even when he was out of the limelight, he battled addiction and other personal demons. But he persisted because of his inner fortitude and his passion for music. Dave had a difficult adult life, just as he had a difficult childhood. In particular, his health was a major source of stress in his life, but nothing out of the ordinary until he announced the news that his admirers and colleagues had been waiting for: a terminal cancer diagnosis, the kind of news that could break the will of anyone. It all started shortly before Gahan's show in Athens, Greece, and now we can get into the details of his terrifying struggle. Dave was whisked away to the hospital in a flash after complaining of severe illness in the changing room. There, doctors found a tumor in his bladder. At the time of diagnosis, the tumor had not broken through the wall of his bladder. Therefore, he was warned that an immediate surgical procedure might be his only option for a full recovery. According to an emotional interview Dave gave earlier, the doctors initially thought it was a stomach illness, but when he had ultrasounds, a tumor in his bladder was suddenly found. By claiming he was unable to stop because he was on an 8-month tour, Dave attempted to negotiate while in denial. However, as the oncologist became serious and emphasized the seriousness of the issue, he was finally persuaded. Dave underwent surgery to remove the tumor quickly. He acknowledged that he truly believed he was about to die, despite the fact that he was eventually given the all-clear signal. Dave had some difficult times and had several really sad talks with his wife Jennifer after his surgery. When Jennifer confided in Dave that she wasn't okay, he told her he was going to be all right. She was afraid he was trying to tell her that even if things didn't work out, he had lived a nice life and their children would be well without him. So she tried to avoid him sounding like he was ready to quit up. The loved ones you're leaving behind also have it tough at these times. After all, saying goodbye is never simple. As you might expect, Dave continued to undergo routine cystoscopies after his recuperation to monitor his urethral health. In spite of his initial distaste, he soon adjusted to the situation and began to see his loved one's presence as a blessing. even though the experience had been quite unpleasant. Discuss the importance of being thankful. However, Dave's struggles with both physical and emotional health began long before he was diagnosed with cancer. Addiction and major health problems were the defining features of his life. His life was fraught with near-death encounters as he battled heroin addiction. Paramedics in his hometown gave him the nickname the Cat because he narrowly avoided death 4 times during his worst days in Los Angeles. After Gahan had a little heart attack in October 1993 at a show in New Orleans, the other members of Depeche Mode had to improvise an encore without him. Not only that, though, once, Gahan slit his wrists in an attempt to end his life. In retrospect, he saw it as a cry for assistance and assured them that he had placed himself in an area where they could easily locate and rescue him. It was at this time that he felt the most profound anguish and isolation. In addition, Gahan has admitted to having a speedball overdose in Los Angeles' Sunset Marquis Hotel. Paramedics were able to restart his heart after he had been dead for 2 minutes. He said it was like being in the darkest, most terrifying place he had ever been in an out-of-body experience. In his mind, he saw himself sprawled out on the floor, engulfed in a flurry of activity. Upon regaining consciousness, he found himself handcuffed by a police officer. Even while it was expected that he would struggle to control his drug usage, many fans were nonetheless devastated and maybe not prepared to hear such things about their beloved celebrity. A few months later, after dealing with drug charges, Gahan wisely decided to put himself into treatment, determined to make a positive change in his life and improve himself. These events took a tremendous toll on him physically and emotionally, but they also started him on the road to healing and rehabilitation. Things may have improved for Dave after his difficult fight with cancer and other illnesses, but the year 2022 also brought a very sad moment, as he lost a dear friend and important bandmate, Andy Fletcher. Fans were unprepared for this news following the public pronouncements of Dave's troubles and misery, but it was too late to turn back the clock. Depeche Mode announced their debut album following his passing, and Dave claims that Martin and he swore to finish the forthcoming LP Memento Mori in honor of their Enjoy the Silence group's co-founding members' memory. The two were planning a North American tour for March 2023, and they wanted to play some famous locations including Madison Square Garden in New York, the United Center in Chicago, the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, and the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. As part of their European tour, they were also scheduled to play at Twickenham Stadium in London on June 17th. Early in the epidemic, they started working on the project with themes that were inspired by that difficult time. However, they resolved to continue on after Fletch's death, thinking it was his wish. It was already a great occasion to begin their adventure, but Dave added that Fletch would have adored this CD. In their letter to those who have expressed condolences over Andy's passing, the couple said that they needed to take a time to thank everyone for the outpouring of support they had received since Andy's passing, and that perusing their picture albums was a breathtaking experience. Peruse their accounts and get a sense of the depth of Andy's impact. After much speculation, the two finally confirmed that Fletch had died of an aortic dissection, a tear in the heart's main blood vessel, and that he had gone gently. As the driving force behind Depeche Mode, David Gahan has left an outstanding legacy while dealing with controversy and other difficulties. Are you familiar with the many challenges he overcame in life, and what are your thoughts on him? Post a comment below to inform us.